Hello, I'm Nico and I finished second place in the biggest Digimon event in the Philippines, which is Digimon Challenge Club hosted by Hobby Collect. So I thank Mr. Jeff Angueco for hosting this event. It was a fun one and also a challenging one. So first and foremost, I'll be giving you my deck profiles for the 4 decks that I used for the tournament. These would be ChaosGallantmon, Control, Jogress Green, Hybrid Green, and Digiburst Green. So later on, I will also be sharing with you the record for each of my decks and also my thoughts for the tournament. So first is the ChaosGallantmon deck profile. So let's start. So for the Digitomas, we have 1 copy of Digimon and 4 copies of Demimeramon. Demimeramon allows us to draw 1 card and trash 1 card from hand, and Digimon allows us to gain 2k DP whenever a Digimon is deleted at the turn. So moving on, that's for the Digitomas. We have our rookies. For the rookie, we have 1 copy of Tapirmon EX1. Allows us to draw 1 card when a Digimon is deleted that turn, once per turn. Next would be our 4 copies of Tapirmon BT2. Allows us to draw 1 card when Tapirmon is deleted. So next would be our 4 copies of Gazimon. Prevents our opponent from gaining memory except through Tamers. Next would be 4 copies of Gilmon. When Gilmon is deleted via card effect, allows us to gain 1 memory. So that's for the rookies. Next would be the level 4s. For the level 4, we have 1 copy of Black War Growlmon. Allows our Digimon to have Sec +1 when a Digimon is deleted that turn. Next, our 2 copies of Lowimon, a hybrid Digimon, evolves from Tamers. Very good finisher for the late game. Our 4 copies of Meramon, 1 cost to evolve, very efficient for the memory. And also our 4 copies of Devimon, a blocker, also a 1 cost to evolve, level 4. So that's for the level 4s that we have for this deck. Next we'll be having the level 5s. For the level 5, we have 4 copies of Black War Growlmon, Digiburst 3, revives a rookie, and an ESS of restanding a Digimon just by deleting 1 other Digimon you control. Very nice card. And next, for our floater, 2 copies of Jokermon. When deleted, allows us to play a rookie from trash. Yep, a floater. Very good, nice card. Also, 2 copies of Skullmeramon, a memory efficient level 5, 2 cost to evolve. Also 5 cost to cast. Nice card, but I rarely use this. Normally I use Black War Ground. So that's for our level 5. Next will be our level 6. We have 2 copies of Tactimon. Very good card with gaining 1 memory. Gains 2k DP and destroys all rookies our opponent controls. Very nice for a startup level 6. Next would be our 4 copies of ChaosGallantmon, a removal of level 5 or lower Digimon. Also revives a Digimon that is level 3 from our trash when a Digimon is deleted during our turn. Together I'll be explaining Millennium 2, good removal. It allows us to bounce one Digimon that our opponent controls towards the bottom of the deck. Also, when Millennium is deleted, allows us to play him for free if and only if he has a source when deleted. So, very nice card. This is a control deck, so what can we expect? So next for our Tamers, we have 3 copies of Matt Ishida. Allows us to recycle a purple card from our trash. Also a memory corrector. And 2 copies of Analog Boy. Allows us to add a Digimon at the top 3 of their decks. And trash the others. Also, the second effect is when a level 5 or higher Digimon is deleted, allows us to gain 1 memory. Also, if the hatching area is vacant, allows us to hatch an egg. Very nice card, very nice. Next would be our options. The last part of this deck profile for the Purple Chaos Duke is our 4 copies of Purple Memory Boost. Purple Memory Boost allows us to add 1 Digimon just by looking at the top 4 of our deck, and with a delay effect of gaining 2 memory at the latter part of the game. Very nice card. It allows our bad hand to be resolved. Very nice, very nice. So for the next deck profile, we have Jogress Green. So let's start. For Jogress Green, we have for the Digitamas, we have 1 copy of BT3 Minamon and 4 copies of Minamon ST9. Both of them have effects of gaining 1 BP, except that BT3 Minamon is when attacking a Digimon, and ST9 whenever you control a blue Digimon on play. So that's for the Digitama. Next would be our rookies. For the rookies, we have 3 copies of Madoki Betamon. Madoki Betamon allows us to prevent our opponent from gaining memory except through Tamers. Next would be our 1 copy of Vmon BT8. Allows us to get 1 blue dual color card from the top 4 of our deck. So that's for his effect. Next would be our 3 copies of Palmon. Allows us to get 1 level 4 just by looking at the top 3 of our deck. Very nice card for consistency. And next would be our 4 copies of Wormon, which allows us to Jogress evolve at the end phase if applicable. And lastly, our 4 copies of Vmon, that is ST9, allows us to look at the top 3 of our deck and adds 1 free Digimon. Very nice card. And that's it for our rookies. Next will be our level 4 Digimon. So this is quite a lot, that's why I run Palmon BT1. This is the main reason. We have 4 copies of Stingmon and 3 copies of XVmon. So they have similar effects for their main effects. Stingmon reduces 1 cost for play. Also XVmon also reduces 1 cost on play. Stingmon only reduces whenever a blue Digimon is active. Same goes with XVmon whenever a green Digimon is active on the battle area. Stingmon ESS allows us to draw 1 card. XVmon ESS allows us to gain 1k memory whenever a blue Digimon is present. So next would be our 3 copies of XVmon, that is Jamming, EX1. It has an ESS of whenever this Digimon has free and its traits, it gains Jamming. Very good card for a 3 check. Next would be our 4 copies of Light Dramon. That is a armor Digimon. It is a 2 cost when evolved from Vmon and allows us to suspend 1 Digimon level 4 when it is Digivolved. Very nice card. So that's it for level 4s. Next would be our level 5s. We have 4 copies of Pale Dramon, and 4 copies of Dynamon. Both are Jogress Digimon. Pale Dramon, when Jogress evolved, targets 1 Digimon that is 6k lower DP. Return it at the bottom of the deck. And Dynamon allows us to suspend 1 Digimon that is regardless of level. So also Pale Dramon, once per turn it restands. Dynamon, depending on the number of colors this Digimon has, gains 1k DP. So next would be our level 6, 2 copies of Dinorex and 1 copy of Imperial Dramon Fighter Mode. So for Dinorex, it suspends 1 Digimon, cannot be active at the next active phase. Also gains 1k DP for each suspended Digimon. Imperial returns 1 Digimon that is 10k lower DP. Also, if you control a green, suspend 1 Digimon your opponent controls. Also restands if you control a blue Digimon. Basically, he's a dual color, so it applies everything. Very good card, splashable to every green deck. Next would be our Tamers. For our Tamers, we have 2 copies of Ken Davis. Ken Davis allows us to gain 1 memory if we have a blue, also 1 memory if we have a green during the start of our main phase. Very strong card. Technically, we gain 2 memory if we have a blue-green on play. Also, whenever you Digivolve a Digimon that is a dual color, if it is suspended, restand it. Very nice card. Also, next would be our memory correction Tamer, Davis Motomiya. This one is a consistency card. Also, it allows us to look at the top 3 of our decks and allows us to add 1 blue, 1 green Digimon. Very nice card, very nice. Next would be our options. We have 4 copies of Ice Wall and 1 copy of Hammer Spark. Hammer Spark allows us to gain 1 memory, and Ice Wall allows our opponent to lose 2 memory whenever they attack. Stackable, very annoying, and both cards have the similar security effect of letting us have +2 memory. Yep, that's all for Jogress Green. It looks very similar to blue, so let's not more worry about that. So moving on, we'll have our 3rd deck, which is Hybrid Green. So for the Digitama, we have 1 copy of Argomon and 4 copies of BBmon. So BBmon has a effect of all turns. Whenever our other Digimon is suspended, it gains 1k DP. For Argomon, at the active phase, when this Digimon unsuspends, gain 1 memory. Very good cards. Next, for our rookies, we have 3 copies of, I forgot his name, let's call him Pencilmon. He looks like a pencil. So, a 2 cost rookie, very good, very nice. 3k DP. Next would be our 3 copies of Agumon, with an ESS of, during our turn, we gain 1k DP. Very simple and a good review. So Next would be our 2 copies of Tentomon. Tentomon allows us to reduce reduce the cost of digivolving an insectoid Digimon whenever the Digimon attacks. It is his ESS, so that's nice. For our next rookie, we will be having 3 copies of Assistant Terriermon, Digiburst 1. Look at the top of our deck. If it is a green Digimon, add it. It's very simple. Nice card. Next would be our 2 copies of Terriermon, BT3. Terriermon prevents our opponent from gaining memory, except through Tamers. Very nice card. Okay, that's for the rookies in Hybrid Green. Next would be our level 4. For our level 4, we have 3 copies of Exermon. This one, when Digivolving, suspend 1 Digimon you control. Also, you get to suspend 1 Digimon regardless of level your opponent controls. Very nice card for setups. Also, all turns when your other Digimon are suspended, this Digimon gains 1k DP. So, a good card for setups. And next would be our 4 copies of Beetlemon. A good card for searching our hybrids and JP Shibayama. So when Digivolving, you get to reveal the top 5 of your deck. Add 1 JP and 1 hybrid Digimon. Okay, next would be our 4 copies of Metal Kabuterimon. So Metal Kabuterimon allows us to suspend 1 Digimon when Digivolve from a hybrid or JP Shibayama. So that's its effect. It suspends 1 6k Digimon, 1 6k or lower DP Digimon. So that's it for our level 4. Next would be our level 5. We have 2 copies of Pistmon, a download Digimon. So download 2, reduce the cost by 2. So you have to go for 1 cost for level 5. Also has an ESS of if our other Digimon are suspended, gain 1k DP. So next would be our Climbmon. Depending on the DP, when this Digimon is Digivolved while suspended, it allows us to bounce that Digimon of equal DP or lower at the bottom of the deck. So also the ESS allows us to suspend 1 Digimon when this Digimon is turned active during the active phase. So next for our last level 5 is Rhino Kabuterimon, a hybrid which allows us to Digivolve to an Insectoid or a Ancient 10 Warrior if its source is a hybrid or a Insectoid Digimon. So at the cost of 3, you get to evolve. Very good card. Next would be our level 6. We have 2 copies of Ancient Troymon. Its effect has a whenever our opponent attacks, it allows us to suspend 2 Digimon that are not blockers. Also, when Troymon is deleted, allows us to play a level 4 from hand hybrid, level 4 or lower hybrid from hand. Very good card for defending. Next would be our Nidhoggmon at 2. Good card for board wiping our opponent. So Digiburst 4, suspend all 5k lower Digimon and return them and all suspended Digimon are returned to the bottom of the deck. Next would be our 3 copies of Shivamon. Shivamon is an insectoid Digimon. If all of our Digimon, it has an effect that whenever all of our Digimon are suspended during our opponent's turn, our opponent cannot use any option cards from hand. And also, when this Digimon turns active during the active phase, it trashes the top security of our opponent. Basically, a good card for stalling, yes, while reducing the security of our opponent. Yep, very nice card with the proper setup. Next would be our Tamers. We have 4 copies of JP Shibayama. Whenever we digivolve this one to an hybrid, reduce its cost by 1. So basically, our level 4 hybrids are cost 1. And his ESS is, you can play this one from the security. His ESS is our Digimon gains piercing. Very nice card, very nice. Next would be our 3 copies of Ken, our memory corrector Tamer. His effect is when our green Digimon deletes a Digimon and survives, suspend him and gain 1 memory. That's his purpose. Next would be our options. We have 2 copies of Green Memory Boost. Again, this is a color memory boost, very good card. Delay 2 memory at the latter part of the game, allows us to add amongst the 4 cards revealed at our top deck. So next would be our 2 copies of Samadhi Shanti. Samadhi Shanti allows us to suspend 1 Digimon we control and suspends 1 Digimon or 1 Tamer our opponent controls, and the targeted Tamer or Digimon cannot be turned active during the active phase. Also, it has an ESS of suspending 1 Digimon our opponent controls. So that's it for Hybrid Green. So moving on to my last deck, which is also my favorite deck amongst the 4. So this is Digiburst Green, basically my master deck. First would be the Digitama. We have Pinamon, 1 copy. Whenever there's a suspended Digimon when attacking, draw 1. Next would be our 4 copies of Yokomon. Yokomon allows us to gain 2k DP. When Yokomon is used as a material for a Digiburst effect. So that's for the Digitama. Next, we have our rookies. For the rookies, we have 4 copies of Goburimon. Best rookie for green, in my opinion. Next would be the 2 copies of Lalamon. Lalamon is also good. Whenever she is used as a material for a Digiburst, allows us to sort of recycle her instead of going to trash. Very nice. Next would be our 2 copies of Bakumon. Bakumon allows us to gain 1 memory whenever there are 2 Digimon from our opponent's side of the field that are suspended. It's a when attacking effect. Very nice card. Next would be Tentomon. Tentomon allows us to reveal the top card of our deck. If it is a green Digimon, add it to our hand. Very nice. Next would be our 1 copy of Betamon. Betamon allows us to reveal the top 3 of our deck, add 1 level 4 or Tamer amongst them. Very nice, very situational. Comes very handy when you need it. Next would be our 2 copies of Terriermon. Terriermon allows us to prevent our opponent from gaining memory, as what I explained a while ago. So that's it for our rookies. Moving on for our level 4. For the level 4, we have 4 copies of Weedmon. So Weedmon, when used as a Digiburst material, we gain 1 memory. So very nice card for memory controlling or extended plays. Next are 2 copies of Woodmon and 2 copies of Kabuterimon. So basically, there are just blockers. Only Kabuterimon has 1 cost of Digivolution. So next would be our 2 copies of Arbormon, a hybrid. Very nice card for a finisher card. Next would be our 1 copy of Rapidmon. Also a nice card for board wiping rookies and lower anything that is lower than 5k DP. This one, depending on the number of Tamers, it suspends Digimon regardless of level. Also, it's a armor Digimon, so it has armor purge. Very nice, very nice. Next would be our level 5. For the level 5, we have our 1 copy of Argomon. So next would be Argomon is a download 3. So basically a free cost level 5. Also allows us to play rookies in suspended when attacking. Next would be our 4 copies of Blossomon. Also a free level 5, download 3. Same as Argomon. Next would be my favorite card for this deck. Our 4 copies of Lilamon. Lilamon allows us to Digiburst 2. Suspends 1 Digimon your opponent controls. And that's it. So for her ESS, when you control a Tamer, it also suspends a Digimon your opponent controls. That's a when attacking effect. Combos well with Weedmon and Yokomon. Very good card. One of my favorite. Also, her art is good. Very nice, very nice. Next, for our level 6, we have 2 copies of Troymon. I explained this already a while ago. Our 2 copies of Nidhogg. Also, your handy dandy board wipe Digimon. And our 2 copies of Saint Gargomon. Saint Gargomon allows us to suspend 1 Digimon that cannot be turned active during the active phase. That is his when Digivolving effect. Also, if there are Digimon that is suspended when he is attacking, he gains security plus 1. And next would be our last level 6, the heart of the deck, Rafflesimon. Rafflesimon herself is a Digiburst Digimon, which allows us to let our Digimon gain 2k DP. That's basically all Digimon that she's been with for the time she appeared. So there's also another effect once per turn. When a Digiburst effect is activated, you get to stun 1 Digimon your opponent controls. It cannot attack or block until next turn. A very nice card. And then next would be our Tamers. For the Tamers, we have 2 copies of Yoshino. Yoshino allows us to recycle 1 Digitama. Very nice. From our trash. Also reduces the cost of Digiburst Digimons by 1. So basically, combos well with Rafflesi for a zero cost Slide Evolve. Nidhogg for 4 cost. Lilamon for a let's say it's a 2 cost. Very nice card. Next, for the Tamer, we have 3 copies of Mini, very staple for the deck, for green decks. Allows us to hatch at the same time move from the racing area, and a memory collector Tamer. So that's all for the Tamers. Next would be our options. We have 1 copy of HPD, pretty much staple for every green deck, and our 2 copies of green memory boost. I already explained this, and that's for the options. So that's all for my deck profiles. So next would be for the records for each deck. So for my Chaos Duke, it scored 5-3 out of the 7 matches that I had. I'm pretty much surprised that this deck performed well. I'm pretty much thankful for the original owner of this deck. He lent it to me, and I'm thankful for that I went on to 2nd place for this tournament using this one. Next would be the Jogress Green. This one scored 2-1. Basically, this is normally banned in my side because it's a meta deck. Also, other players' reasoning is that I play 4 annoying cards, which are 4 ice walls. That's basically it. And next would be overall, I'm not pretty much impressed with this deck because it doesn't fit my playstyle. Because normally it hard casts 3 cost Digimon, which is not very healthy in my case. So next would be the Hybrid Green. It scored 4-3. It's a so-so deck. It comes up with a 50-50 chance of winning. This one is a do or die. Normally, I place this at the middle part whenever I play the best of 5. There is one regret that I realized during the matches that I played. I really regretted that I changed Thunder Laser and for Samadhi Shanti. Thunder Laser is pretty much consistent than Samadhi. I really wish that it was a Thunder Laser. So during the matches that I did during the tournament. So overall, it's quite so-so. Not really impressed because some of the since it is a shared ban list, I cannot run Mimi over it. I really love playing Mimi in Hybrid Green. It's a really good card for that deck. Oh, and last but not the least, my favorite deck is the Digiburst Green. It scored at 4-0. It didn't betray me. So overall, it's my best deck. Because I simply control my opponents, locking them up at 1 memory, even though they have a auto 3 memory Tamer. I can always control their field. I don't really care when there's a memory corrector. So as long as I can control the flow of the game, it's pretty much the win condition in my part. So despite even having 0 security, I don't really care. If I can control you, that's it. So those are my thoughts of my decks. For another thing, the practical weaknesses of my decks are multi-checks. I cannot stand like security +4 or 3 depending of what Digimon am I facing. So technically X antibody, Jesmon, that really depends. But Digiburst Green has the highest probability of winning in if I will be weighing the winning chances amongst the 4 decks. Digiburst Green has the highest because of the control effects. So also it has all of them has weaknesses for Yellow Hybrid, because Yellow Hybrid has a fast rate of recovering their security. It's pretty much a hard matchup because their security are filled with toolboxes that prevents you from advancing, like destroying your Digimon level 5 lower depending on the number of Tamers your opponent controls. Also many other toolbox cards which are pretty much annoying, which is whenever I see a hybrid deck that is yellow in my opponent's deck selections, I automatically ban it as per the rule of our tournament. So those are the thoughts for my decks. Pretty much said it all. For the hardest matchup that I experienced would be the finals matchup running for first and second. It's basically a mismatch for me because my opponent really knew what my gameplay is. It also his decks are pretty much multi-checks and rush, which was also my weakness. Those are X Antibody, Imperial, and what's this? Jesmon. Those cards. For Imperial Dramon, I can simply take that on because it has a delay in terms of checking securities. However, my Chaos Duke wasn't able to perform well. That's why the streak is over for Chaos Duke. Very sad, but it's okay. I learned something from that experience. Pretty much sad that I was not able to use my Digiburst screen in my finals because I really wanted my Chaos Duke to win and have my Digiburst run at the last place for my run at as my last deck. So for my favorite matchup, that would be my tiebreaker match with Digiburst Green, because Digiburst Green during that time was my Rapidmon was able to perform well. He deleted like 3 Digimon on my opponent's side of the field that are lower than 5k DP, and majority of them are suspended. And also my favorite rookie was able to make a direct attack to my opponent, which is the finisher. It's a do or die and a game set match. Very nice. It's one of my enjoyable match. And for the overall tournament experience, it was a very hard match, very hard tournament. You get nervous whenever you go to a match, but as long as you believe in your deck and just don't jinx anything, so everything will go fine. And as long as you double check everything and know all the effects that your opponent has on their field. So it's better to ask the effects on the opponent's side so that you'll never get lost for the moves that you will be doing. So it was a hard experience and a challenging one due to the fact that it is a shared ban list for all the decks. So I cannot run multiple copies until I only have a maximum of 4. So a lot of creativity is needed in building each of these decks. So yeah, that's all. So again, I will be thanking Mr. Acuna for lending me this purple deck, ChaosGallantmon, and Mr. Odate and Mr. Nulot for the other cards that I need. I thank them, and also Mr. Ongweko for this tournament. It was a fun experience and also a challenging one. Thank you, and that's all. So this is Nico again. I see you next time.